The air on Naboo was uncharacteristically heavy that day, not with rain or humidity, but with a profound, aching sorrow. A funeral pyre, built simply yet with great dignity, cast a flickering orange glow against the deepening twilight. Wisps of smoke curled upwards, carrying with them the last vestiges of a noble spirit. It was here, standing shoulder to shoulder, their robes barely stirring in the gentle breeze, that two of the Jedi Order's most esteemed masters bore witness to the passing of their fallen brother, Qui-Gon Jinn. Mace Windu, his face etched with a silent, stern grief, watched the flames consume the shroud. Beside him, Grandmaster Yoda, diminished by sorrow, leaned heavily on his giver stick, his ears drooping ever so slightly. The silence between them was thick, broken only by the crackle of the pyre and the distant, mournful cries of Naboo's native creatures. It was a silence that spoke volumes of a loss that went beyond the personal, reaching into the very fabric of the Force itself. Qui-Gon Jinn had died at the hands of a Sith Lord. This was a truth they had tried to deny, to rationalize for 1,000 years. The Sith, the ancient enemies of the Jedi, were supposed to be extinct, mere whispers from a forgotten age. But the brutal, undeniable reality of Darth Maul, the sheer dark power he wielded, had shattered that complacent illusion. As the last embers of Qui-Gon's pyre faded, leaving behind only ash and a faint, lingering warmth, a terrible truth finally settled upon their hearts. The Sith had returned. Yoda, his voice a low, raspy whisper that seemed to carry the weight of centuries, finally broke the silence. "Feel it, you do," he murmured, not looking at Windu, but at the cooling pyre. "The darkness, thicker than before it is, a shroud over the light." Windu's gaze remained fixed on the spot where Qui-Gon's body had been. "He was real, Master," he said, his voice quiet, almost devoid of its usual power. "That creature, Darth Maul, no mere dark side assassin, he fought with the discipline, the power of a true Sith." Yoda slowly, painstakingly lifted his gaze to the stars, his ancient eyes filled with a dawning, terrible wisdom. 1,000 years since they were last seen, the Sith were. Believed them extinct, we did. A grave error that was. He paused, a long, contemplative silence stretching between them, punctuated only by the distant hum of the Naboo night. "Know their ways I do. Ancient texts I have studied. Always there were two, a master and an apprentice. No more, no less." Windu turned his head slowly, his eyes meeting Yoda's. There was a sudden, chilling clarity in his gaze, a realization that cut through the haze of grief and brought with it a different kind of horror. The Force had been telling them stories for centuries, ancient histories whispered in forgotten scrolls and the echoes of long-past battles. The rule of two. It was a core tenet of Sith philosophy, limiting their numbers to prevent internal strife and ensure their power remained concentrated. A chilling, effective strategy for a millennium-long game. "The rule of two," Windu repeated, the words tasting like ash in his mouth. "A master and an apprentice." He took a slow, deliberate breath, the implication of Yoda's words settling like a cold stone in his stomach. His brow furrowed, a profound and terrible question forming in his mind, one that would redefine their understanding of the threat they faced. "Obi-Wan defeated him, Master," Windu continued, his voice barely a murmur now, the stillness of the night amplifying its quiet dread. "Darth Maul, he was struck down." Another pause, a deliberate beat that allowed the full weight of his next words to sink in, not just for Yoda, but for himself, for the entire Jedi Order, for the galaxy. "Which one was he?" Windu finally asked, his voice a low, chilling whisper, the question hanging in the quiet night like a death knell. The question was not rhetorical. It was a dawning horror, an intellectual realization that pierced through the veil of grief and complacency. If Darth Maul was the apprentice, then the true Sith Master, the architect of their return, remained hidden, waiting, observing. And if Maul was the master, then a new, unseen apprentice would already be rising, perhaps even more dangerous than the last. The implications were staggering. The Jedi had believed they had merely encountered a lone dark warrior. But if the rule of two held true, then this was just the tip of an iceberg, a sign of a deeper, more insidious evil at work. The millennium of peace, the era of quiet contemplation and internal growth for the Jedi, was over. It had ended not with a bang, but with the quiet, chilling realization beside a funeral pyre on a peaceful planet. Mace Windu, the steadfast, unyielding bulwark of the Jedi Council, now faced the daunting reality of a shadow that had returned to threaten the galaxy. Its full extent still unknown, its true nature shrouded in the very mystery of that chilling question: master or apprentice? The music swells slightly, then fades to a thoughtful, lingering note. This moment, this quiet, profound realization on Naboo marked a turning point not just for Mace Windu and Yoda, but for the entire Jedi Order and the galaxy itself. It was the end of a long peace and the beginning of a cold war against an enemy whose true face remained hidden in the shadows. The Jedi, once guardians of a settled peace, now had to become hunters of an ancient, patient evil. What are your thoughts on this pivotal moment? How do you think the realization of the Rule of Two shaped the Jedi's actions in the years that followed? Share your insights and theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this reflection, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more journeys into the lore and profound moments of the Star Wars universe. Until next time, may the Force be with you.